Hello and welcome by this video from me, Helene from Herleven. And today I have a great guest. His name is Devon. And I think he's really, really special because he is not eating solid food. And I think that's really amazing. So we directly hop in the questions, Devon, and I appreciate your time. It's great to have you here. And that you will share your wisdom, because your physical age is really young, actually. I remember you told me you're only 26, but your wisdom is 26, but your wisdom is with a one before, I think. But why are you not eating solid food? Why is that? How did you came on that path?
Yeah, how did I get on this path? So I was initiated in Bigu, which is a Taoist energy cultivation practice where you invoke certain breathing practices so you can feel certain parts of your body and how the energy flows in that. And the deeper your relationship with that, the less you need dense, energetic food, because that becomes a replacement in a sense. Not so a replacement, but you get to absorb more biophotonic energy in terms of your environment around you. And you don't really feel, quote unquote, hungry like the average human being that doesn't even is aware of the energy around them. So that became a byproduct. The main point isn't to get to that point, but it became a byproduct of the Bigu practice. And later on, I got to the point where I would have one solid meal a week, and then it would be spaced out to every 2 weeks and every 3 weeks, and then I just gave in to the liquids.
Yeah, and is in the where you were initiated by, does everybody do that, or was it just your calling?
In the Bigu practice, no, not everyone does that in the Bigu practice. It depends on how deep you take the practice and how committed you are to the practice, that you will eventually get to that point. Even my sifu, he warned me that eventually I'm going to get to that point if the way my trajectory is going, because I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the relationship I was building with my breath. And that's what I'm sharing with everyone in this sense, that breath is, there's a sense of breath consciousness, even way beyond breath work itself, because the breath is a living entity. And when you build a relationship with it, you start to feel the different characteristics of it, the different aspects of it that it has to bring way beyond just the breathing aspect, but the wisdom that it also has to share.
And so the wisdom of the breath is, so the breath is your food in a way now.
You could say that, or the breath carries the food.
Yeah. And you have red light on you in the red light a lot. So yeah. How do you see then the light is giving you like the food, like the energy?
Yeah, so infrared light, it produces ATP in the body, which a lot of people think you just eat food and then you get ATP in the body. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we're light beings as well. If you really think about it, what gives the plants life, and what gives the animals life, and what gives the other animals that eat the other animals life? And the main source of it comes from the sun, which gives that light spectrum of energy to all that is life. And we see different colors of vegetables and different colors of animals too, and how that affects the animals. So the animals eat the energetic resonance from the vegetables, and they get the energy, and some animals would eat the animal, and they're just literally passing on the biophotonic energy from the sun, passing onwards. So in terms of light energy, when we eat a specific vegetable, and we're not just eating the physical aspects of it, but we're also eating the colors, and the different varieties that it has to have, and that information gets passed on in the body, and the body reacts in a chemical way to that specific light spectrum that plant has, way beyond the actual physical aspect of it. That's why when we quote unquote create waste, that goes to show you that the body doesn't use all of it. It uses most of the biophotonic energy that's stored within that specific food. That's why it's actually more ideal to quote unquote, if you're going to eat meat, it's more ideal to get it super, super fresh because it has more biophotons in there because it ate that animal recently and it doesn't die off over and over in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the older days, they put meat, of course, in salt. So they had, in the winter times, they had some food. Mm-hmm. So, but it's more better in a fresh way, you say, when you would eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And how about when you live in a quite dark country, like Sweden or so? Here in the Netherlands, it's in the middle, I think. But in the winter, we have days it's not good.
Yeah, so honestly, it's a lot easier to live this lifestyle in a warmer climate, a hotter climate. Yeah. I have worked with people that have lived in colder climates, and I tell them about the red light therapy. But also even dark room therapy is pretty powerful as well, because when you're in that dark room, you're also producing more melanin as well, which is a powerhouse in terms of absorbing light, and specifically DMT within the brain. And that helps get a person, quote unquote, into a psychedelic resonance of energy where they can, they don't have a harder time absorbing or transmuting the light spectrum energy around them. So darkroom therapy is one of my go-tos when I work with people in colder countries, if they are, quote unquote, on that path, if they really want to go on that path. And then they'll notice the contrast when coming out the darkroom therapy and then into, even though it's not that much light in Sweden or colder countries, they can easily absorb it a lot more because you have that subconscious contrast, being in the dark room for so long, you have that contrast of the light. And no matter if it's too dark or too light, doesn't really matter. If you're looking up in the clouds, there's still biophotons in the clouds, but it becomes a lot easier when you take the darkroom therapy path, specifically in colder climates.
How often would you recommend then to do, how long in a dark room? I have heard of it, and actually it was interesting. Yeah, when I read it about years ago, I felt, oh my gosh, one day I will do that. But I didn't look it up actually to do it somewhere. But now you mention it again. But how often and what's your idea about it then, your experience?
Yeah, how often? In terms of someone getting used to it, so someone can just spend it really depends on that person and that person's subconscious tolerance to the dark and things of that nature. But honestly, about 2 weeks, 2 long weeks, if they can go for it. If they can, then we literally spread it out a couple of days or even a week, like once a week type of thing. Then we spread it out, and then we at least try to go for 3 days straight, at least 3 days straight, when they get to that point where they're more comfortable with the dark. And then the main point is to really get to that 3-day mark in the dark, straight, not coming out, just staying in there for 3 days. That's still pretty powerful as well.
And then you should do that, say, once a year or so.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you can, definitely do it once a year.
Oh, okay. That will have benefits, you think?
Big time, yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, I will do it.
And that's another thing to note in terms of us being light beings. The melanin on our skin is so reactive to light. There's so many studies out there that artificial light affects the skin's hormones and the chemical factors. It actually lowers certain hormones in the body and actually spikes up cortisol. When I got more sensitive in terms of energy, I noticed in the nighttime, if the fluorescent lights on or the LED lights are on, I really react to it and I feel kind of drained and oozy. So I even looked into red light therapy, and that was a huge hack to combat that, because the red light also blocks out the blue light at nighttime, which is really detrimental to melanin production.
But then you have maybe blue light. Let's say you're using your phone or your computer, and there's red light as well, like both.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about the red light is it doesn't just block. It doesn't really block off blue light, but it balances out. So there's that factor, which is really great. I look at that as filters for people. So so that helps block out any blue light coming from the phone, or if you're watching television, I tell them at least have the red light shining at you. That really helps. And now I even put on my website, there's portable ones you can take with you wherever, which is a huge hack.
Yeah.
Huge hack in this modern day society.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Good to know.
Yeah. So I want to say that light is literally food. It really is, because the fact that the infrared produces ATP in the body, not just food. A lot of people, growing up in school, they teach us that, hey, when you eat food, it produces ATP, the sugars, the energy for the body. Light can literally do the same thing. So that should tell you this breatharian lifestyle isn't too far-fetched off, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is cheap in a way as well, isn't it? When you're not eating.
Yes, it is.
And how did you because you do drink, and how much? I guess you also did less and less, but how much do you drink, and what do you drink then? You juice as well?
Yeah, juice, but I don't drink as much as many people think that I do. It's mainly, I would say, about a good liter a day. If I'm being social, maybe 2 liters, because I might go over the normal drinking aspect of it. Yeah, but about a liter a day in terms of liquids, mostly coconut water, if anything. I'm just getting back into teas. I now understand why the Chinese masters, the Japanese tea ceremonies, why they love tea and what that represents energetically as well. I'm getting used to that. So yeah, I've been finding myself a lot more tea these days.
Yeah, but that's not really much then. Let's say that you have 1 liter of coconut drink. That's actually nothing in.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm mainly good for a long time on just a 1 liter. But then if I go into social settings and it's there, and people are eating, and I don't even want to bring up. I'll have a glass or something, to socialize.
Yes, just to socialize, because that was also a question I had. Because food and drinks are such a big social thing to share. And how did you cope with that? I mean, when you're not eating, people think, yeah, well, he's not eating.
Yeah, so I was very blessed when before my journey started, that I lived in California. In California, there's so many gourmet restaurants out there that I went to before I lost everything to the business partner and started this journey. I literally went to a gourmet restaurant almost every day. So I tasted everything under the sun. And I feel like that subconsciously helped me as well to detach in a sense. Yeah. But it's more than detaching, but just make peace to the fact that I'm not really searching for any taste at that point. It's just, if anything, that's mainly why I'm drinking. It's mainly for the taste at this point.
Yeah. And how's the social part with your friends then?
Oh, it's not bad. I barely go out anyway. So even if I do go to gatherings, at least here in Miami, it's more so within the community, they already know. So I don't have to really, I don't have to like be awkward about it at all.
No, so that's what it is. Yeah, you already have a lifestyle where it's normal to do or not to do whatever. Yeah. Nobody's judging you anymore.
Nope.
That's really cool. Yeah. And what is your breathing practice during the day, or in the morning, or in the night, or whatever? What do you do?
Yeah, so every day I switch it up in a sense, because it helps build healthy stimuli. I don't do the same exact breath work every day. I'm sure you got a taste of that, of why that is. And the reason why that is too, they found that, I just learned this recently, and it really helps solidify why it's great to change your breathing patterns in a healthy way, back and forth, and have fun with it. That's the point of alchemy breathwork. They find that when you go to a new place, it helps build healthy stimuli because your brain is trying to process, new environment, all these different things. So when you're breathing in a new pattern, because your environment also affects your breathing pattern, correct? So why not have control of that, where it's almost a hack in a sense as well. When you change your breathing pattern, it's like you're telling your body to also change the stimuli. And when the stimuli gets affected that way, it produces healthier stimuli and deeper neurotic connections in terms of the neurons exercising itself. That way it doesn't feel like it's in a similar territory at that point. Mm. And that way it just builds and builds and builds and builds healthier neuroplasticity at that point too.
So it's not a day-to-day same practice you have.
No, every day is different.
Yeah, and did you start that way to have a similar day practice? Did you start that way?
No, I didn't. Even with my Sifu at the time, like it felt a little bit more mundane. But at least with him too, it'd be a new week. So he does it by week, where I sometimes do that, where I stick with a specific number, maybe 3, 6, or 9. So maybe 1 week with all my practices, I stick with 3s, and the next week I stick with 6s, and the next week I stick with 9s, or I'll go back and forth in betweens. And with him, he did like a different set of practices every week. So every week it's a little bit new, but every day it's like the same. And then every new week it's different. But then I told him about what I've been doing, and then he started switching it up, and he could really feel the difference. And he liked it too, because when you do that that way, it becomes a little bit more challenging as well, and that's a great thing for us human beings. Like we thrive in challenges. That's how we grow.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. And on the other hand, I also my experience that so many people, because the work I do in the Netherlands is also, I share different people. I always say I have a whole palette, and you pick of it what you need and what you want. But my experience is a lot of people, they don't like it. They want me to say, oh, what do I have to do? Just say it. And then I think, yeah, well, today is not tomorrow. So my experience, people like it when it's easy, when they say, okay, it's this and that. But you're saying also go with the day and see that. Yeah, good. Yeah. Thanks. Then I have a question. Do you have a tip for the people who are watching? Do you have an at-home tip? Maybe not to do it every day, but maybe they can. But maybe you have an exercise they can put in their practice.
Yeah, so a simple one we all can do together. It's just a regular inhale, only with the nose, and a 3 partial breath out. Regular inhale, 3 partial breaths out. Regular inhale, 3 partial breaths out. And then you can go silence with the breath. And that'll help you come back into balance a little bit. In a short. You
can also do this with 6s and 9s, right?
Yep, you can do it with 6, 9. You can do it while walking. You can do it while jogging. Yeah. You'd be surprised how faster you heal in that sense, and how longer you last when exercising.
Yeah, it's a nice exercise, I think. Yeah, that's true. Nice. It's simple, but very effective. So, well, I think I can talk hours with you. Maybe we will do it another day as well, an interview. But Did I forgot something to ask that you think, oh, I want to share that? Please let me know.
Yeah, for people that are just starting out too, or, I don't know, who may have some experiences with breathwork and they want to try something new in that sense. You can even try subliminal breathwork music, just listening to it, and even add that to your breathwork practice or yoga practice, whatever that is. And they found that the sound of my breath produces high points of theta and alpha in the brain. So why not listen to something that is very, very healing, and breath-wise, it'll help you breathe in a different way, subconsciously, in a deeper sense, in a healing sense. Just listening to the sounds of breath in that aspect is very, very powerful.
Yeah. Shall I put a link underneath this YouTube video with a good one you share? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I just released Breath of Confidence, and it's in 520 hertz. It's all over all the music platforms. So definitely check that out.
Perfect. We do that. Yeah. And of course, I put also the link to your website and Instagram because you share so much, and it's so valuable to look and read and listen to it. And so when you're watching, I hope you learned something of this video, and yeah, go try some stuff, I would say. And thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a great day, and bye-bye. And Devon, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you all for sharing the breath.
Yes,
Peace.
we do. Peace. Bye.